Welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. Thank you for keeping it here. We just took a short break there to bring back two gentlemen, Nick Mwadime Mwangi, the man who likes to be referred by all his three names, and then we have Deno Newsman. That's how I like to call him. So let's just stick to Deno Newsman and Nick Mwadime Mwangi, who are joining me here on an exciting session on the newspapers. We're taking a look at the headlines, and the gentlemen have with them each a copy of the Standard, the Daily Nation, and I have with me the e-version of the Business Daily. We're going to go across the headlines, and then we're going to take a look at the most important stories of the day, get to hear what the gentlemen have to say, and react to also what you have to say while you're out there. Introduction, gentlemen, for the guys who are watching us for the first time. My name is Richard Okenye. I am the host of this show, very beautiful show of Biashara Tuesday. Let me go to my far left and get to see what the gentleman has to say.
Okay, first of all, good morning, Richard.
Good morning
and
to you.
Nick.
Morning.
My name is Denis Omondi, common face on this station. I'm a news anchor actually at KUTV, 9 p.m. news.
Right.
On a Tuesday like today.
On a Tuesday like today, 9 p.m. wakuja watazame Bwana Denis pale hewani. Let's move to Nick.
Yes, good morning, Richard.
Morning to you.
I'm almost called a co-host in this show.
Yeah, you're almost there. Just
I'm almost there.
one
right?
more show.
Just
and
one more show.
We just offer
And
you
we
a
do
contract. My producer, prepare it.
Yes. Good morning.
Welcome back again.
Thank you so much. My name is Nick Mwadime Mwangi. I'm the National Executive Director at MKUSA. MKUSA is Mount Kenya Colleges University Student Association. Yes.
All right.
And all our viewers, I hope we make you happy again with this new team.
Right.
Yes.
Happy Utamaduni?
Yes.
Happy Uduma?
Yes.
Or which is which? Which is which?
Previously it was Moi Day.
Yes.
If we check history very well, and by that time, Moi used to give out free milk during Moi Day.
You're confusing the Gen Zs. When you speak Moi Day, milk, those
So,
are...
and milk is very sensitive to many people because Nyayo, by that time it was Maziwa ya Nyayo. So people will enjoy specifically in high school and in primary Moi Day because of the milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So now we no longer have the milk.
Yeah.
So what days? So what is the day today, Deno?
No, I think I don't really know what day we are celebrating, but what I know is that I like this month. Because
There's so many.
Because it gives you
we
two
have
holidays.
too many holidays in this month, coupled up with the weekends, and we are good to go. We are okay.
All right. So if it's Utamaduni, we celebrate our heritage. If it's Huduma, we celebrate all the services we've been able to enjoy as Kenyans. But if you are at home, let us know which day today is and what kind of holiday you are celebrating. Let's get into it, gentlemen.
Okay.
I also noticed that they haven't put any of that celebration in the dailies.
Probably you need to let Kenyans know that today, currently at Bomas, there will be different communities celebrating their culture and heritage, and members of the public or society are welcome to go there for free. Yes. So if you are love for culture, if it's Luo culture, if it's Maasai culture, if it's Kikuyu culture where I come from, as many as possible.
Right. So that's likely Utamaduni Day then, yeah? So
Because
it seems...
we are following it up even in our newsroom, and I think the president is going to be there. So the fact that the president is there, maybe it's
Right.
an Utamaduni Day.
It's an Utamaduni Day.
Yes.
Then happy Utamaduni Day as you join us on this session on the newspaper. Let's get into it, gentlemen.
Okay.
I don't know if I should start here or who wants to pick it up first.
Ruto takes over sales state of properties. I don't know.
That's the standard.
That's the standard.
And then I'm looking at the Kenya's most read newspaper, and the headline is "Court puts brakes on Haiti police mission."
Right. The Business Daily is focusing on the taxes. So state plans to scrap taxes on cooking gas as prices rise again. Before we react, let me hear, what's your best headline there? The Business Daily, state plans to scrap taxes on cooking gas as prices rise again. So that's positivity there. Ruto takes over the sale of state agencies. So that's a bit negative. And then the High Court is halting that sending of police officers to Haiti.
Yes.
The High Court is also telling Sabina Chege is no longer the Jubilee party leader
The deputy
and the deputy minority. No, I have to tell Sabina Chege that she's really in trouble,
right.
trying to sabotage my party where I belong.
Before we get into Sabina Chege, the headline, you as someone who's been in the newsroom, and you know editing is a very big part of that process.
Yes.
Where did the editor do well in these three papers?
Okay, so looking at what we are having, I think all of them are matters of national importance.
Okay.
If we are going to look at what is more local, I'd first look at what the Standard has put out, because it is a matter that has been in the public for a very long time. It is something that is of interest, and I'd couple up that with a story that is related, that has to do with matters of 117 billion shillings being waived by the government. So I think those two stories
are very
deserve to be on the front page.
All right, shout out to the Standard editor. This time, no typos on Ruto's name. I remember they did that some time back. However, that privatization bill now.
Yes.
The president gets to sign the privatization bill, which means that now Parliament does not have oversight authority over what state agencies or any assets or grants that are being transferred from the government to any private individual or any private company. And you already saw that 114 billion has been waived for sugar. These sugar companies.
Yes.
Is this a good bill, or and then what is the role of an oversight authority like Parliament in terms of keeping the executive in check?
Like we had noticed before, is the irony of all this is that it is the Parliament that says we want to oversight, that gave out this power and let the president have the leeway. It is not a secret that some of these corporations and state-owned institutions really need a turnaround, so that we don't keep on pumping money from the public coffers into these institutions that don't seem to be making any profit. But now when it becomes private, we are now entering a different kind of field altogether. Because now, for example, let's say you privatize a sugar miller, and then the farmers, they're used to, the government comes when there is a problem, we talk, and the government just gives a directive and it is done. When it goes to a private individual, it now means that this guy is going to be guided by the market forces. Whatever will ensure that the company makes profit is what this person will do. And some of these are community-based institutions. So it means the community loses the control of all this. So it has got some bit of good and some bit of bad to it. But
since we are in a kind of junction, Nick, I don't know if you can weigh in on that as well, that now we have non-performing state entities which can be given over to private individuals who know how to run business, and that could be kudos, right? But then, as Denis is bringing up there's that issue where the government has been very useful and functional in bailing out the farmers or in bailing out whoever is involved within the non-performing entity. Be it even Kenya Airways, I'm hoping it's part of those institutions which are going to be privatized, at least to have a turnaround for once, and KPLC maybe. Is it possible that we can strike a balance? Mali tunasaidia, lakini pia tusilose sana to private individuals who might be unscrupulous in business.
Well, earlier, before we started the show, I was just telling you that almost 30 years ago, this guy had the same idea. Back then, he introduced the idea to President Moi, wanting the same idea to be implemented. At that time, President Ruto was the organizing secretary for KANU. It's to me, I find it very unfortunate that today we are discussing that bill for two reasons. One, we still continue seeing that the role of legislature is slowly diminishing, because if executive can always have their way in implementation of bills, in implementation of laws, it is a very dangerous state to live in. That's number one. And number two, I want to agree with Denis. What is happening here that allegedly that private investors will have now these companies. Now, what is going to happen is the highest bidder will win the tender. And this is just a business transaction, I see. Because what happens today if the president calls Mumias or to calls the CS, tells, you know what, Bwana CS, Treasury, I want you to sell this company, Mumias, to Denis Omondi. He has 10 billion on the table. So it's a very dangerous state to be in as a country, because the government is supposed to play the middleman. The government is supposed to make Kenyans feel safe. Right? Because at the end of the day, we Kenyans expect nothing less from the president and also from his government.
It gets me very confused, though, the president, when, you know, a few weeks ago we saw him in a tussle with the Rai family over, you know, ownership of such entities, non-performing entities, and now we have a very different direction where this is a bill which is now an act, actually, since the president already signed it, and will require a privatization authority. This privatization authority is going to be the oversight that is going to handle the privatization matter, unlike before when it required parliamentary approval. So therefore, there's going to be a very gray area where who's going to oversight the politics that are going to stem out of this? Because when we see the exchange of words that was there, which led to the common phrase we now know of as Mambo Muni Matatu, right? That was a fight against privatization. And now we are seeing a push towards privatization. Am I the only one who's confused here?
I think, Richard, I said it before here, and I told you, our president is a good PR director, right?
Is a what?
He's a good PR director. He knows the script. He knows how to lay it very well. The war was not between him and the private companies. The war was how best can he control or manage that the arena. Because we understand that the Rai family almost took over Mumias because they were pumping in so many billions to sustain or to resuscitate Mumias sugar factory. But that is beside the point. What again I'm foreseeing is a very dangerous situation whereby it makes also private owners of companies at risk, because if the parliament cannot provide oversight to the executive in such issues, right, then who's going to oversight the man on the seat?
The executive, right?
Yes.
And it brings up that recent, the recent terms, I'm sure they know you've seen this, being in the newsroom, the shareholder conversation. Who's the shareholder, who isn't? Does this probably pave way for a situation where, now the shareholders can get to own a few entities here and there?
We cannot rule that out, because even yesterday I was listening to the new government spokesperson, the voice of the government, if you like. He was being asked now, because he's saying the shareholder narrative, it goes without saying that when we are sharing national resources, then it is equal to everybody. But when we are sharing positions and now where the real money can come from, then we have to look at how we voted, who campaigned, who slept late in the evening campaigning for this regime. So even with the privatization, I don't know if such a thing will happen, but it's something we cannot rule out. There is something that I've seen, for example, when it comes to the port of Mombasa, is it Lamu Port, which is now on top of headlines right now. Raila is saying this, the president is saying, no, we are not privatizing. The governor of Mombasa himself is speaking about it. And he's saying, what about we privatize it? We have something like a hybrid system where the government still maintains the ownership of whichever entity we are talking about. But then, since we have known private sector to be characterized by efficiency and they know how to get profits, let's make it profitable by getting a private person to run it, just be on top of everything that appertains to managing this thing. But then when it comes to who owns it, it is the government. But then I'd really love to see how the deal that will be signed between the government and this private investor looks like.
Raila is saying that should be public information.
Yes.
That all of us should be aware of who's getting what and who isn't getting what. But, speaking of if we are still on the shareholder narrative, I'd just like to quote George Orwell from The Animal Farm. All animals are equal. But some are more equal than others, yeah? So we could share resources equally, but some will get more equal resources.
Richard, it reminds me of a Nigerian story. A man walked to his kinsmen and he said, you know what? My first wife cannot give children. So one of the elders quickly jumped and said, I agree with that point, but as we speak right now, my first daughter is expecting a child. So I was really torn. I was really torn.
Oh, that almost flew by me.
I was really torn whether the kingsmen are advising the man to divorce the first wife or to marry the second wife.
Yeah. Okay. Something to ponder about in that conversation on privatization, but read much more of it. I think the Standard is one that has prioritized that story on privatization bill,
Yes.
the Privatization Act now, yeah, which will need the Privatization Authority to oversight exactly what will be going on there. Denis, the Daily Nation?
The Daily Nation, page 8, let's look at the top story there. It's all about the deployment of 1,000 police officers to the Caribbean nation of Haiti. And we understand that the Third Way Alliance, that is a Kurao court-led party, has moved to the High Court. They are saying, no, you cannot deploy the police officers out of Kenya because it is against the law.
The Constitution.
Yeah, it's against the Constitution. So they have told the court that the law mandates National Police Service to only work
Within our borders.
And by the way, come to think of it, it is called National Police Service.
Service, right.
Yes.
So what service are we taking to Haiti?
So you see, according to the Constitution, we are supposed to deploy the Kenya Defense Forces according to the 2010 Constitution. However, it does not really make sense for the logic behind the president's directive about our Kenya police, because one, we are less equipped. Two, our equipments are behind technology. Three, I don't understand how we can be, or our Kenya police can be more supreme than United States police officers. And then finally, this Haiti war, this is not new. And we are not newcomers in this battle. So to me, this is just, again I say, a way of making his political way in international politics. Because I said it before, he knows the script, he's a PR director. Yes.
On the international front, he seems to be doing well, saying that these police officers are going to be trained. They're going to receive training. I thought they're going to combat civil strife, but apparently there's also a bit of training there. And I wanted to read from the United Nations themselves. They recommend one police officer to every 450 citizens. And you said we're not well equipped, and that's true, because Kenya has one for every 1,150 citizens.
Yeah.
We are already lacking in police service.
They are going to deal with people who are very, very extremely dangerous. If they walked into a state house and killed a sitting president, what are they going to do to the police?
Do you know?
Because I'm also looking
our
at...
police is going to be safe.
No, the situation actually, the truth of the matter is that the situation in Haiti is at its boiling point. Because it is something as late as 2021, you are still hearing of assassinations of a head of state. That's a serious thing. Remember that this is a place where France has been there before, US has been there before, all this. But I'm trying to take refuge in the fact that maybe we are not going to be there alone. We are going to have other countries, because it is a multinational thing.
Approach. But Kenya has the most of that force.
And they are leading. So, being the leader of this contingent of police officers, it means that even the responsibility is higher.
Right.
And then there is another thing that the whole story brings. I don't know if you've heard the ongoing narrative of these proofs that we are somewhat the puppets now
of the West,
of the West and all that. It even looks at the war that is going on between now Israel and Hamas, which we are seeing currently. I don't know if you saw the statement from the ministry. Kenya was very fast. We stand with the
Israel, right?
Yes, and all that. You see, like right now, the US takes the lead. We join
follow.
the queue.
Right.
Takes the lead. We join the queue. And I don't know if that's the same thing that is happening on.
It is the same thing. The United States released 14 billion Kenyan shillings to Kenya.
Yes.
And one of the questions that Ekuru is asking is, why hasn't the US deployed its own troops this time?
I keep asking myself that question because I could not understand why President Biden has to recommend our president on Haiti.
Right.
It's very dangerous.
Biden, President William Ruto,
Yes.
a very interesting tweet from Martha Karua, which I can't read on this platform this morning, but you can go back and read. You know, it was someone and his boy.
Because
How it looks like right now is that it looks like President Ruto is the new point man
in
of
Africa
the
for
West
Biden or the West in general.
in Africa, because it looks like they really pass things through him right now. It's actually him. If they go far, maybe Nigeria and all that. But for now, he has been. Most of the things that are coming to Africa have been going through President Ruto.
I have an interesting question here from Samson Ayera on Twitter. Anasema, is it really bad to help our neighbors? Yeah, you know, we, for example, we usually laud the U.S. military for, you know, all the missions they've done. You know, they're very powerful. They've advanced in technology. So the question is, you know, maybe we could flex our muscles somehow for the first time.
I want to respond to Ayera.
Samson Ayera. Yes.
Because it's a funny question, but I see his point of view. We are currently struggling with the issue of Al-Shabaab.
Yeah, locally.
Locally.
Struggle.
Locally. So the logic has it will be very difficult to sustain our far-fetched relatives in Haiti.
Our far-fetched relatives. I like that kind of reference.
But I always say, you know, we exist as a country, but at the same time, we are not an island. So we have our international obligations also that we have to meet. Perhaps this is one of those moments when we have to meet such international obligations. I think mostly in the recent past, we've only been used to us sending our people to Somalia. Now we are in DRC, and we've been doing it just around closer to home. Now this one is going outside home, and then now the problem is we are sending our police officers, and many people are like, no, do they have the kind of training that is needed? So I think the problem is not even us deploying.
It's whether they have.
Yes, it's whether they have the skills, and these things also involve high costs.
Yes.
The US is sending money for this one. I think for DRC, we are the ones
footing the bill.
Yeah, something like that. So those are the things that we have to look. And then these people have families. Those families are worried. Is our son going to come back? Ama anaenda kukufia kule.
Yes.
So it begs the question, Richard.
Right?
What is it?
What is it in
for Kenya?
What is in for Kenya? I'll just say it outright here. I think, and I strongly believe, this is the business of politics. This is, you know, someone either giving a hand back or giving a hand forward towards something in the future. So it could be some plan between Biden and President William Ruto, or it could be within a clause of, you know, something else that are deals we are not privy of. And I strongly believe this isn't just barely a peacekeeping mission. I am not going to buy it, but we can just, you know, maybe see what happens in case the High Court gets to release or lift the brakes on this mission. Do you think that the High Court will lift the brakes on this mission?
As a matter of fact, the High Court has halted the deployment of 1,000 officers.
Once this case is is heard fully, do you think maybe eventually we'll get to release them? We already have 14 billion. It's already signed. This is a done deal.
In my view,
because you can go first.
In my view, Richard, not unless we execute and change the constitution, the High Court is saying the police officers are not mandated within the 2010 constitution to be deployed in or outside the borders of
Kenya.
What I'm from where I see it, I think we still have up to January because the deployment is happening in January. The communication is now. That's why we are still talking about it. But the police are set to actually leave in January. So there is still room. Anything can happen in between here. And then I've seen the argument that is being put forward by the CS Interior, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki. And he's saying the people we are deploying, there are cadres within the police service.
Okay.
So they deal with different specializations. It is not as if we are going to take a traffic police
officer to go and fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could be GSU or any other
cadre within the NPS.
Within the NPS. So if they go to court and argue that actually the persons we are sending are so and so, and then the government has got its own legal advisor, which is the Attorney General, and we have the State Law Office who go through all this. I believe that they have seen this, they know this. This is the exact argument that they're going to take to the court and then tell the judge, we want an interpretation of this. Both sides know what the law says. The judge will just be interpreting
exactly
for them
to fit this context.
Yes, exactly.
Always in violation of the constitution that he sought to defend and protect. That's Joshua reacting on Twitter to that, saying that President William Ruto is always in violation
Let's remember
of the constitution that he sought to defend and protect.
Let's remember he carried the sword, not the constitution.
Na mkono hiyo ingine ilikuwa on the Bible, not on the constitution. Okay.
I think someone carried the constitution.
Yeah.
Was it the Bible or the constitution upside down?
Yes. Some very funny situations. Seti also say, so it took a court whose march derided within Azimio circles to put brakes on the mission, yet the latter, which is Azimio, with its myriad hotshot lawyers who rush to court anytime one of its leaders is arrested, could only whine. So that's, I think, someone just trying to attack the opposition there. And then Samson Ayera already asked this question. Feta saying they should actually, I think it's wise for Kenyans and Haitians as well for this mission. Stula the general, very comical comment here saying, court ilijua huko Haiti ni kushandwa. So the court has saved lives for us. Read more on that story. Page 8, court put brakes on Haiti police mission. That is pending, of course, the hearing, and then we'll get to know what goes on there. We'll get to much more of what is war. I think maybe let's talk about it. Earlier on, before I came into the show, I was having a conversation with Major Frank Maina, who is at the transmission desk here with us on the show, and he pointed out that it's quite ironical that we are very calm given the many wars that are there within our globe at the moment. If you're talking Russia, Ukraine, if you're talking sending missions to DRC, we are talking about Somalia, we're talking about Ethiopia, the Tigray region. Now we have here, Haiti. That's also happening, and we have now fresh clashes over the Palestine and Israel there. Are we really in a normal state, or is this just World War in its many versions? World War III, just reduced, devolved World War III.
Me in all of this thing, it's only my prayer that the cost of living doesn't go up.
It is going up because in Israel the prices of crude oil are also up.
Yeah,
now.
because we were being told that the prices of petrol has gone up because of Ukraine war. Now we have
a new war.
Are we going to survive this? But anyway, number one, I detest war in all its forms. And number two, when life or lives of people are involved, I think we should go beyond ideology and the politics of it. Because if within 3 days, one side is saying we've lost 300, another side is counting about 400, those are deaths. You've not counted injuries and casualties. You've not counted the loss of property when they cost the damage that has been done. It is going to be too great. And sometimes when you see that this thing is happening in Israel, the guys who have the most revered intelligence agency, and then you are like, if it can happen in Israel,
then it can happen.
Yes, it can happen.
They were caught by surprise for people who have a lot of that military intelligence. Nick,
I'm quite observant, Richard, because no one is actually taking a keynote that where it all started. This let me call it script, started in 2019 December. There was a biological weapon that was released called COVID-19. Right? We counted thousands and millions of deaths. Right? It proceeded to Ukraine and Russia war. We are currently talking about Israel and Palestine war. Nobody's talking about the human rights. Nobody's talking about the loss of property. Nobody's talking about the high cost of living. We are tending to deflect into taking sides, which is a very risky situation, especially for us Kenya, whereby we see our president, who was very fast in taking a side. I thought he would be very sympathetic in the actual situation, because we have seen what war can do into a country. We were there in 2007, right, on political differences, ideologies. We cannot at any moment take sides, because thousands and millions of people are dying in this war. People say the cost of war is very expensive.
Right.
I totally agree.
And those benefiting are not, the casualties. War is business, but only for a few individuals.
Only for a few individuals.
Taking sides is not the best, the best scenario at this point.
Yes.
Because we are also calling for de-escalation of hostilities. But how do you de-escalate when one side feels like these are people have ganged up against me,
right,
and all that? So if we are to de-escalate, I think let's start by first acknowledging the grievances of this side and the grievances of the other side, and then come to a common ground for both sides, because this is an issue that has been there for a very long time. Being the location even of Israel surrounded by Lebanon, you are having Palestine this side, and the other Islamic states around. It means that they are in a constant state
of war, right?
They're waiting for
politics
it.
And even religion, religion does pop in there once in a while. Who are the children of God? Who are the children of Allah on this side? And it becomes a whole mess.
Let me tell you something, Richard, Denis. These wars start in a closed room, whereby friends disagree on ideologies. That probably the president of Palestine and the president and the prime minister of Israel sat in a room, disagreed probably on a cost of a bag of maize. So they decided, now let's flex our muscle, see who has the better weapons. And be as it may, let's all agree, to most politicians, and it is a sad state that they still receive security, and their taxpayers pay for those security, and they end up dying.
Right.
Yes.
Very sad scenario there, and we're hoping at the escalation of that situation and not taking sides. Yeah, we need a bit more of peace. Gentlemen, let's maybe take a look at one more story. It's 9:41 in the morning. We have something very prepared here for you. So I'll take one story. We can just talk about it real quick. But we have to congratulate Kevin Kiptum. So don't know who's going to take up that. It has a very good headline on the Standard, the back there on the sports. So we'll maybe go through one from the Daily Nation, and then if Nick, you don't have any other, we can do the congratulatory moment for Kiptum. Yes.
Just allow me to say one and mention one. Just a mention. So let me start with the mention. Help Boss says students to wait a bit longer for loans. That is first years. The continuing students have their monies have already been disbursed, but for continuing students, they are saying that they have received the information and they are currently validating it. What I've noticed is that it's not given exact time when the money is coming.
Sad state this time.
It's not given the exact date, so you cannot hold him to account on when.
On when this is coming. Comrade, sasa to survive aje. Kuinama lunch, supper, breakfast, study. Hell bit okay. This
is where I tell my fellow comrades that it is time to come and unite.
Right.
That our rights are being violated. We are cornered to a corner. I told you this time, Richard, last time, that the continuing students will get help. They'll forget about
the students who are coming in.
Is it what's happening?
Right. Someone argued recently that we should no longer use, and I'm going to put you on the spot here,
Yes.
being at the helm of comrade leadership, that we should no longer be using the word comrade. The spirit of comradeship has long left us. You know, back then during the days of Sonu, when it was a bit stronger, when Kusa was really strong, and it was really Kusa, and all the issues of students would be aired on a national platform. If you spoke to Orengo today and told him you're a comrade, he will rubbish whatever you're saying. It's like,
Yes.
what kind of comrade are you when the high cost of living is up and comrades are not showing up for such national dialogues? Could we call ourselves comrades anymore?
Probably, because the challenge is generational gap that we have seen from Generation Y to the millennials, now to Gen Zs. Gen Zs fight their war on Twitter.
And
right?
TikTok.
And TikTok. That does not bring results. We still have Generation Y on power. So if we as Gen Zs or the millennials want effective change of the table, I told you, Richard, we either make our table or grab the table.
Okay.
Yes.
Deno, that was a mention or a story?
That was a mention. My last story is has got something to related to President Ruto's visit to the Nyanza region. He ended that visit yesterday, and there were so many things. In fact, this is where the whole talk of the differences between him and his deputy stemmed from, when he said, let's stop the talk of shareholding, and then the deputy says, and DP Gachagua is a very interesting person. I believe he is a politician. It is expected of a politician. When he was in Nyanza, in Kisumu, for instance, he was telling them, hata namavulia kofia, you are the best people.
Humility at its best.
But when he is outside that place, he says everybody is getting what they
deserve.
contributed.
Right.
Yes, what they deserve. So this, in common sense, simply means you did not invest here, wait for the 5 years to be over, you rethink your decision, you see how you will vote in the next one. But
is it 5 or 7 years?
I'm not even sure. Right?
Is it 5 or There's a lot to talk about there.
Yes.
And gentlemen, I think let's just break it a bit. I wish we could I had so many questions about even that rift between Gachagua and Ruto.
Yes.
We saw it during Uhuru and Ruto, and I'm just wondering, is it also just coming up,
So
maybe it could be
probably
happening.
one story before we jump in.
Yes.
The court dismisses Sabina Chege.
Deputy Minority Whip, yes.
I think it will be actually, I would like to congratulate the new deputy affirmed, Honorable Mark Mwenje, the Embakasi West MP, and also affirm that Jubilee is still strong, that despite the gimmicks, because you see in that the same Daily Nation, that Orengo said that the butchering of multi-party democracy should not continue.
Right.
Yes, because we see that those are some of the games that are continuing in political parties. And I hear and I tell you that today, Richard, that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is still the party leader of Jubilee.
Right.
Yes.
I like when I bring Jubilee guys over on this show.
but even without looking at personalities and discussing individuals,
Please pass this snake in the meantime.
when you look at what is happening in Jubilee, it was not making sense why you would be siding with the government and then you are the minority whip for the opposition.
Right.
I mean, how? Because the minority whip is like a prefect. You tell them you are wrong here. How will you tell them you are wrong when you are already with the government? Yours is the biggest mistake in the first place. So I think it was just time for us to bring some sanity in the politics.
And there's been sanity as well in the opposition. I like from the direction the ODM party took, and now we're seeing Jubilee. Align your people, keep the government in check. Let's not be all, mouthpieces of the government, right?
Yes.
Let's do a simple brain teaser here, guys. If you're at home, please participate as well. Let us know what your score is. Today, I am just the judge. Like I've been winning so much. It's too much. They said, please stop winning.
Losing twice.
Only to Nick. I've only lost to Nick. Yeah, once, not
Twice.
not so many times. And Denis Kimani, YGS chairperson. But let's see. They know you beat me some time back as well. I'm being told here.
No, you are pretending that you don't remember, but it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. I'm putting the winners against each other. Let's get the best then. Naka nimetolewa hiyo stage. Sasa tuko finali. Question number 1 here. if you're at home, general knowledge questions coming to you from Biashara Tuesday. What is the chemical symbol for silver? What is the chemical symbol for silver? Let's get it. Question number 2, Kunola, I'll drop chemistry first here. From 1, what is the capital city of DRC Congo? What is the capital city of DRC Congo? That's question number 2. We move on to the third question. What 2 colors mix to make up purple? What 2 colors mix to make up purple? All right. Question number 4. What planet has the most moons? What planet has the most moons? All right. Hey. Question number 5. How many bones are in the human body? So far, I will be clear. Like, I'd be 5 out of 5. How many bones are in the human body? These are all too easy. They knew it would be easy for me. It would be too easy for me. Question number 6. I have legs, but no water. Mountains, but no stones. Cities, but no buildings. What am I? I have legs, but no water. Why would you have legs and water? I have no legs, but no water. Mountains, but no stones. Cities, but no buildings. What am I? All right, question next. Who is the current CS, Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management? There was a reshuffle last week. I'm sure you guys are very aware of it.
Today you have decided we are only getting number 7 correct.
For the politicians.
Yeah?
For me and Denis.
Yeah, this is the only political question. We have another one. We have 2 more actually. And one of them we answered with one of you here before. So current CS for that Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management. Question number 8. Between which years did World War I and World War II last? Between which years did World War I and World War II last? Okay, 2 political questions for this gentleman to save their faces. Who was Kenya's first Attorney General? That is question number 9. Who was Kenya's first Attorney General? And then lastly, who is the current governor of Nakuru County? Who is the current governor of Nakuru County? Let's get it. Okay, so you guys switch papers, time's up. And then Nick, pass your paper to Denis, and then vice versa, alafu to get to tick. I'm going to go real quick. So if you're at home, this is going to be a fast one. It's 9:50 in the morning. These gentlemen have to also give their congratulatory statements to Kevin Kiptum, and that is mandatory for this show today. So wacha tuharakishe kidogo. What is the chemical symbol for silver? It is Ag.
Not HG.
HG tena.
He had an idea.
I'm a chemical engineer, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm a chemist.
What is the capital city of DRC? Kinshasa. All right. What 2 colors mix up to make up purple? It's red and blue. Red and blue make up purple. Niko sure hii mliuma nje. Men are colorblind.
No, tulipata.
Oh,
Sisi ni watu werevu.
Sorry, I'm just speaking for myself then. Question 4. What planet has the most moons?
Jupiter.
That's Saturn.
It's between Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah.
I think 9 and the difference is usually 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must have been a smart science student.
I had no idea about that.
I wouldn't have remembered it's Saturn.
It's because of the orbiters. Yes.
Okay. How many bones are in the human body? 26, guys. 206. 206.
Ningeshangaa ribs tuko na 24.
Alafu hizo zingine mbili imeshikilia kutoka chini hadi juu. All right, 206 bones in your human body. I have legs but no water, mountain but no stone, city but no building. So basically, you have the features of the earth but you don't have them. It's a map. The answer is a map.
Hiyo tumepata. Mimi niliandika live.
Yeah. Oh, the tricky one. Riddle. Who is the current CS for Ministry of Public Service,
Korea.
Performance and Delivery Management? It's Moses Kuria, the former MITI CS. Yeah, so that's what you have there. Between which year did World War I and II last? World War I, between which years? So they wrote the number of years that they lasted, or is it the year? Yes, 1914 to 1918 for World War I, and then 1935 to 1945 for World War II. No?
That is debatable.
That is debatable.
That is debatable.
Okay.
1939 to 1945.
For the Second World War?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's how it
But
ended.
Denis is saying it's debatable.
No, now the figure is given is
Oh,
correct.
what's the figure?
For the First World War, it was 1914 to 1918. Then the Second World War was 1939 to 1945.
That's exactly what I said. So let's
Is it 1935 too?
1939 to 1945.
For the first one, I had 1940.
Oh, maybe I did mispronounce it. Sorry, there. 1939 to 1945. Second last question. First AG of Kenya, Njonjo Charles. I have to say he went to Alliance High School. Question number 10. Who is the current governor of Nakuru County? Susan Kihika is the governor of Nakuru County. Ebu, walipata ngapi hapo? Ebu tuambieni. Nick amepata nini na Denis amepata nini? And then just maybe a few comments here on Twitter. I think we're just going to finish the show, guys, with you together. So that co-hosting thing might be really happening on this particular show today. Tash Mitambo is watching. Anasema kwani ulichange stylist? Ninakaa dapper than most, sindio? I'm still the same stylist. Stylist is Richard_Okenye. I address myself. Thank you for tuning into the show. Tony Mushiri, Jakojong, also watching. Jakojong is back in Kenya from Turkey. Anasema is watching from Juja. Welcome back. Tony Mushiri also watching, but didn't say where. Boniface Otieno interacting with us as well on Twitter. I see Sanik Mwadime is multitasking on air, but also interacting with us on Twitter. And they say men can't multitask, yeah? But let's see what your multitasking abilities gave you in terms of a score. Amepata nini?
Amepata sita.
Amepata sita, Deno?
6 also here.
6.
We are great men.
So it's a tie, but if I was there, it would have been 7 on my side.
Really?
And I will have beat them. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Richard.
I don't think we ever have enough time to
Yes.
go through everything.
Yes.
So it's 9:55 in the morning. They know I know what you know what this means for our airtime.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with Nick so that when we are wrapping it up, nikikuharakisha wewe unajua
Okay.
inamaanisha nini.
So
congratulate Kevin Kiptum. And then any last one.
One thing that we have to acknowledge is that Kenyans, especially Kenyans, we are known to be running. So when we are running for our lives, when we're running from poverty, let us not forget the man himself, Kevin Kiptum, who won and broke a world new record. Because, as I insist, let's keep running.
Right, let's keep running.
Finally, I want to thank our viewers. Thank you also, you, Richard, Denis, producer Ryan, Bonnie as well, and also to my organization Mkusa and all comrades in the country. Happy Utamaduni Day.
Right.
Yes.
Deno?
Okay, I'll just pick it from where it's left. First of all, happy Utamaduni Day. Funny enough, I didn't know we have a holiday today.
And you're at work, so
yeah,
that's good.
But anyway, just a reminder, tonight we are having an interview, family protection and all that, the debate that is going on. The bill is in Parliament. We want to look at it and see why are some MPs talking about family protection. Some even went ahead to write a letter to the US Congress telling the US Congress, no, stop funding PEPFAR because the money is being used to sponsor abortion in the country. Are these true? Are they just allegations? Because the money, the people from health ministry say the money is helping to fight HIV in the country. What happens after that? We discuss that at 9 p.m. in the evening. Otherwise, have a good day.
All right. That is Deno. Catch him 9 p.m. on KUTV Primetime News, and look forward to that conversation. From me, thank you for all those who've been able to tune in to the show. Remember, we do this 2 days of the week. Monday, you get Karen on art and culture, and then today we get a bit serious with business, politics, and everything in between. Very amazing session. Thank you guys for coming through and creating time for us this morning. That has been Nick Mwadime Mwangi, the Mkusa SecGen, and also that is Deno Newsman. Get him at 9 p.m. as I said earlier on. Myself, Richard Okenye, on all social platforms at Richard_Okenye. Remember, you are already that which you are seeking. Think about it. I'll see you around.